Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today we are going to be doing a first impression and try on of a whole bunch of brand new drugstore makeup, including some very highly hyped new makeup at the drugstore. If this is your first time clicking on one of my videos, welcome. I am so excited that you decided to join us. And if you have not yet subscribed, I hope that you'll consider doing so before you leave. So I know that this video is probably like way overdue to the fact where people may not actually even care anymore. I ordered these products from Ulta like a week and a half ago. It took forever for them to ship. Like, I got a shipping notification and every time I would check it for like 3 days, it was like, oh, awaiting carrier pickup. So unfortunately, this topic is probably well expired, but I have them and I want to use them and I want to try them out. And so I thought, you know what, I'll just sit down, I'll go ahead and put them on, and we'll just chat. In addition to these super duper hyped items, I do also have a couple of new to me things here that we're going to be playing with, and you know, we're just going to have a good time. So if you are excited to see me play with this new makeup and see how I got this look here, you are in the right place. Keep on watching. All right, my friends, so let me catch you up to speed on what I did while I thought I was recording. So I just applied some lip balm. I went ahead and applied my Persona Cosmetics. This is the E-Balm. Such a beautiful product. It is a tinted lip balm. I have the shade Gratitude and it looks like this right here. Now it does look quite dark in the bullet, but as you can see on my lips, it is just a very gently tinted product, but it feels amazing on the lips. Like, I can feel my lips just drinking this in and I'm in love with it. If you have not checked out Persona Cosmetics, do yourself a favor and check them out either on the website or through Ulta, either one. As always, everything I'm using is going to be linked in the description box below, as well as this product here. Everything that she puts out is just so thoughtfully and classily done. Is classily a word? It's done in a very classy way. I really enjoy this brand right here. So definitely check them out. But what I'm going to be using on my lids today is this right here. This is actually a gift from my husband. So this is what the shades look like here. And you guys know I am so intimidated by blue eyeshadow. Now I did swatch them and they feel really kind of creamy and buttery, but they don't go on super duper pigmented, which, to be honest, I'm totally okay with because I am intimidated by blues. Now this is an all shimmer palette, so I am also going to go in with my e.l.f. Retro Paradise just for the mattes and kind of build a look. I would like to use all 4 shades from in here. At least that's the idea. So let's go ahead and get started on that. And I'm not going to talk too much about the different shadows that I'm using and things like that, but I will have, again, everything linked in the description box below. So my husband picked this up for me yesterday. He had to make a run to Walmart, which we don't go to our Walmart overly often, but when we do, it's for very specific items. And you guys are gonna laugh at me when you find out what it is that I specifically request from Walmart. My husband had actually gone because he needed to get some shoes for our 3-year-old. The shoes that he's been wearing, the Velcro kind of went out on it, and so we just needed to get him something new. So my husband went to Walmart to go pick it up, and I requested Hamburger Helper. Walmart seems to be the only place near me that carries the one kind of Hamburger Helper that I prefer, and that is tomato basil. That is the way to go. The tomato basil is the best, hands down, and you can only seem to find it at our Walmart. So since he was already going, I was like, please find me some Hamburger Helper. So while he was there, he decided that he also wanted to get me a present because life has been stressful in our household lately because I have been trying to sleep train twins and it's not been going well. It's not been going well at all. But back to my husband. We'll talk about the twins in a few minutes. So he wanted to get me something nice. So we went down the makeup aisle and he had no idea, no idea at all what to get for me. And so he looked for a little while. He was, you know, kind of conscious about how long he was spending in the store and everything because we're still being very careful. But he was like, he almost got me one that was a more neutral sort of eyeshadow because he was looking at the different options and he was like, well, I could go with foundation, but I do not know which one to get. So I applauded him when he got home for not attempting to buy me a complexion product because that's difficult enough when you know what you're looking for. And he was like, well, I could do lipstick, but she has a lot of lipsticks. Thank you again. So I'll get an eyeshadow. Okay. And so he was looking at some neutral eyeshadows and he was like, but I don't want to be boring. I don't want her to go and make a video and talk about this boring eyeshadow that I got her. So I'm going to get her something fun. Well, my friends, blue. Well, fun is a word that you can describe blue. But I did promise him that I would use it today when I put together my video since I was doing a try-on of a lot of different, mostly drugstore products. So he was very excited and I told him that I loved it, even though on the inside I was like, oh, blue. And you know, I'm gonna try to make it work and see how it goes. Like I said, I'm just so intimidated by blue. Blue is a strong color. Blue is a strong color. And it's going on okay. I like that it needs a little bit of building personally because, you know, I hope that it will keep it from getting a little out of control on me. But we will see, we will see. And then I'll do kind of the darker one on the outer corner, I think, and then the greener of the options on the lower lash line. But I did say that I am trying to sleep train the twins. And y'all, it's hell. I'm sorry. It is. If any of you out there have sleep trained children before, please let me know what worked for you because I am struggling. They are not happy. They are not happy, which means that I am not happy. And it feels like I'm torturing them. And it really does. It feels like I'm torturing them. This whole idea of them going to sleep without their comfort system just feels mean. Okay, so I'm going in with the darker blue and probably because this is a fluffier brush, it has lots of fallout, but also it looks like it's the same color when I apply it. Let me try it with my finger, kind of tap it on. Yeah, there's not, okay, that's helping a little bit, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of tonal variety. That's a surprise, to be honest. But yeah, so what I've been doing is not the full cry it out method, like putting your kids down, leaving the room and not coming back until the next morning. Like I cannot do that. It is not good for my heart and I cannot do it. So I've been doing the more kind of relaxed method, I guess, where you check in periodically with increasing amounts of time in between. So you start off by coming in after a couple of minutes, and then the next time you come in, it's after 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes after that, and just sort of sticking with that interval. And it's not working, and I'm really not feeling great about life. Their naps, with the exception of today, have been going better. I've been able to lay them down in their cribs, leave the room, and they're actually pretty much fine. If they fuss, it's just a tiny bit in the beginning, and then they're okay. Nights, on the other hand, have been much different. Much different. I mean, just screaming for 45 minutes to an hour before I finally give in, and then just lay down on the floor in front of their cribs, which is kind of what I had been doing anyway. What I had been doing up until this point was I was sitting in between the two cribs because they're both against one wall together and there's a space in between the two. And so I would sit in that space in between the two cribs, and I would have one hand in each crib and then, you know, offer, you know, comfort and support that way. And it's not that that was necessarily bad. It was just, I would be in there for 45 minutes to an hour while I was trying to kind of coax them to sleep. And that just pushed everything back, because that meant that, you know, I was up there until 8:45 or so, which meant that my son wasn't going to bed until sometime after that. You know, 9 o'clock is, for our, you know, schedule, is too late for my 3-year-old to be going to bed. So that's kind of what started us down this path. But after, you know, an hour of them just screaming, and it seems like every time I check in, it just makes it worse. So I don't know, it's been really just traumatic for everyone. The other night we were just all crying. I was crying, the girls were crying, my son was crying, we were all just crying. It's been awful. So when he went to the store, he was like, well, I'll get her a surprise. I'm not loving the way this is looking, to be perfectly honest. I do, though, want to grab a little makeup wipe and try to clean up this mess, because it's looking a little scary. I'm hoping once I clean it up a little bit, it'll kind of come together a little bit. But so far, I'm not loving the way this is going, to be perfectly honest. Let's see. So yeah, that's been kind of the battle that we've been fighting. And I know a lot of the stuff that I read says to, you know, stick with it, it'll get better, but I don't know, just in my mind, it just feels mean in a way. Like, you've been this support system and this comfort for these kids for their entire lives, basically. And now you're just going to take it away. Like, I don't know, but I'm struggling and I'm not enjoying it at all. And I don't know what I want to do sort of long term, because I'm going to give it just a few more days, but if we don't have any improvements, then I'm going to scrap it and try something new, because, you know, they're the 3 most divisive topics ever in the world: religion, politics, and parenting. Like, nobody wants to feel like they are screwing their kids up. That is just a hands down fact. And I think that that is why people get so heated when we talk about parenting styles, because it feels sometimes like there's a lot of judgment. I was on a sleep training website and just reading the comments. The things that people would say to each other were just really surprising. And it just set people off, you know, when you imply that the way that someone is doing something is wrong. Well, it's going to upset people, because we're all just doing the best we can. Trying the best we can to, you know, not screw our kids up. Not screw our kids up. And just because the method that you subscribe to is different than the method that somebody else subscribes to, doesn't necessarily make it wrong. Especially when the website that you're on is run by like an actual professional, medical professional. So it just, I don't know, it's a very confusing and divisive topic, and there are so many different, you know, methods and styles out there with, you know, there's people that are staunchly in favor of one or staunchly against another, and it's just, it's a lot. It really is just a lot. So if you have had success with sleep training your children, or on the flip side of that, if you've had success with not sleep training your children, I would really be interested in a very kind and constructive way to hear about your experiences. And again, I don't want to hear a lot of like bickering and bashing down in my comment section, because usually we're all a pretty happy group down there. But I am struggling, and some of you might be asking yourself, well, Ashley, what did you do with your son? And the answer is that I didn't. Okay, so we're going to take a pause there for a minute, and we are going to talk about a couple of the very heavily hyped products that I picked up. And I ordered these ages ago, and they took for flippin' ever to ship. And I'm actually personally insulted by this right here. This is the Nyx Marshmallow Primer. When I was on the Ulta website, they had the regular size for $17, and then they had the mini for $8. And I was like, okay, I've got a bajillion primers. Do I really need more? No, but I really want to try this out on my channel, so I'll go ahead and pick up the mini. The problem here, though, the reason that I am so personally insulted, this is almost half the price and a quarter of the product. I mean, this is tiny. This is what you get as a deluxe sample. Like, I'm personally insulted by this. It looks like a lip balm. Annoyed. But we're going to give it a try for the sake of this video. Put a little bit on my finger right here. I don't really know how much you should be using, but it's got a nice little whipped consistency. And I've heard it's a really good primer, and if I fall in love with it, then perhaps at some point I'll buy the full size, but it has a smell. Not a bad smell. I know my face might make it seem like it. You know what it reminds me of? I am a child of the 80s, as you may well know. And it smells like my original Rainbow Bright dolls. No, Strawberry Shortcake. Strawberry Shortcake dolls. Because they were that sort of like rubbery plastic, but they were also somewhat scented a little bit with some sort of like just sort of generic sweet fruity sort of scent. This is exactly what they smelled like. So random, I know. It does feel like it sunk into my skin just fine. It's not tacky by any means. The scent is strong. So just be aware of that. But we'll see. So far, it's fine. I'll use it up just fine. The whole $8 worth. We'll give that a try. But the other thing that I'm excited to try out is this right here. This has been getting so much hype and so much rage, like good rage. So I'm very, very, very excited to give this a try. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation in a powder. You guys may know I am a big powder foundation fan, especially in the summertime. I find that on my skin, it looks and feels really nice, especially when I go out into the sun, because if I do get a little bit sweaty, it just makes the foundation look better. Everybody has kind of a different feeling when it comes to powder foundations. I am a fan. However, we are going to just sort of spot conceal a little bit. This is my It Bye Bye Under Eye. I really like this one because it is a little bit of a thicker sort of consistency, but also it is basically my skin tone. So I can put it on in a very thin coat and then put the powder on top of it without it getting all bunchy and weird. This is always what I use when I want to wear either just a powder or a powder foundation, because for me it works really well. I don't particularly like really liquidy foundations if I'm going to be wearing a powder foundation. So this is usually my go-to, and we need a lot of concealing today since I decided to wear a blue eyeshadow on top of very dark circles, because again, sleepless mommy, especially these days. Oh my gosh. By the time I finally get everybody down and it's almost 10 o'clock at night and I am just done. I am just done. All right, we're gonna put a little bit on my nose because of all the redness. We're also going to spot conceal my blemishes because your girl is breaking out everywhere. I don't love this as much for blemishes because it is a thicker sort of formula, but we need a little bit extra, a little bit extra. All right, so now, excited to try this out. Like I said, I know that this video is well overdue and that I don't think anybody actually cares about any of this stuff anymore, and a lot of these videos are already out, but I couldn't get anything here any faster, so I am going to be going in with the sponge. And for reference, the shade that I picked up was shade 5 Pearl, because I'm quite fair. I was actually really excited to see a lighter shade, because usually drugstore foundations tend to be a bit dark on me, but look at that. That's looking really nice. I mean, I had a feeling it would based on all the hype, but it's not sticking on the concealer at all. But it's also not looking really heavy and cakey either. I like that. I think this will be a really good product to use over the summer, especially for me, since that's when I tend to prefer to wear it anyway, but it's a very easy sort of application for me. And I like powders because they also on me are less likely to settle into my lines. Yeah. Hopefully I don't go back to edit and look at my look at my playback and be like, ooh. Because, you know, that's happened a few times. That's looking really good. It's looking very, very smooth. And like I said, on me at least, it's not looking cakey at all. For just reference, if this is your first time hanging out with me, welcome, of course. But I do tend to be on the drier side post-pregnancy. I'm not as dry as I once was, so I fall on the drier side of, I guess, normal would be the classification. But all right, what do y'all think? Does it look good? I think it looks good. Just in the handheld compact at least. I think it looks really nice. All right, I'm digging on that. I'm digging on that. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off camera to apply bronzer, blush, highlight, all that kind of good stuff. I don't have anything new to talk about there, but then we'll come back and we'll try out some eye products, well, some mascara, and also some lip products, so very excited. All right, so here we are back with all of the complexion products on and a little bit of black winged liner because that makes everything, that makes everything better, right? Okay, so we are gonna finish off the under eyes because I forgot that I had not yet done that. So we're gonna take the sort of greener gray shade and we're gonna just run that along the lower lash line and hope that we don't mess anything up. I am using a fairly dense sort of brush just to hopefully minimize the fallout because that's not going to be easy to clean up for sure. But like I said, I want to use all of the different colors, and it'll be fun to go downstairs and show my husband the little palette that he bought me. It's definitely not my favorite, but I love that it was a gift from him. That's something that I will always cherish. Okay, we're gonna leave it at that. Try not to mess anything up. And we are going to take the white shade that's in the palette and we're gonna use that as an inner corner highlight. There we go. Not as bright at all as I was expecting. That's an interesting turn of events. All right then. I mean, it'll kind of do the trick, but let's put a little bit under the brow. I was afraid it would be too stark for that, but I think it'll be okay. Okay, so the other thing that I am extremely excited about is this right here. This has gotten such wonderful hype. This is the Sky High Mascara by Maybelline. And my other two mascaras that I've been using are literally on their last legs. So I have high hopes that this can be what I start using moving forward. It does have a rubberized spiky brush, but it's very tapered and the spikes themselves are short. So if it's going to be a rubberized brush, that is for sure my preference, because I'm less likely to impale myself with it. I guess I should have curled my lashes and I didn't do that, but I like the way it's going on. It's not a super wet formula, but it definitely feels like it has some grip to it. All right, so that is just one coat there, and I can feel it on my lashes. So it seems like it's a good substantial coat. Let me do my lower lashes. Give it a minute to kind of dry a little bit and then go in for a second coat. The brush also has some wiggle to it, which is interesting. It feels like it is a flexible brush, which could be good or could be bad depending on kind of what you prefer and what you're comfortable with, but it definitely has some kind of springiness to it. But it's making my lashes look really nice. It's giving them some thickness, which I love, as well as some length, which is honestly what I prefer in a mascara. Length and a little bit of volume without being too clumpy and spidery. So I'm actually really digging this so far. All right, so that is 2 coats. I can see a pretty big difference. I hope you can too. All right, let's go ahead and do the other side so that we match. All right, so this is both eyes done with the mascara, and I do think that I like it initially. I'll have to wait and see how it wears throughout the day. You guys may know that I kind of struggle with transfer to my lower lash line. I will say that it is absolutely a thicker formula. I can feel it on my eyelashes. Like, it feels a little bit heavy. I'm not saying that it feels bad or anything like that. It is just something to be aware of, that I can feel it. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but we're gonna keep on rolling with it. So the last thing that we're gonna do is lips. When I made my Ulta purchase, there was a gift with purchase. So I have these 2 babies right here. This is the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Sandstorm. And then I also have the NYX This is Milky Gloss. Mine is in the shade Cherry Skimmed. So hopefully they go nicely together. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on so that we can go ahead and get finished up. This is not a very creamy pencil at all. Oh. The gloss is very thick, but it feels good. It doesn't feel like it's gonna get that whole like kind of stringy weird thing going on. It doesn't feel like that at all, but it is a little bit of a thicker gloss and it is a little bit more pigmented. Let me go ahead and give you just a quick swatch so that you can see what it looks like. And while we're here, I'll give you one of the pencil as well. Yeah, definitely. Ooh, like that's hard to get off even onto my hand. Don't love the pencil, that is for sure. So those are the two items right there. Clearly they don't go together, but what are you gonna do? It's a first impression, right? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, jump off camera, do something with my hair, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap everything up. All right, so here we have the final look, and I do really like the way that it came together. The eyes were definitely a struggle, but I think in the end it looks nice. However, I don't feel like I can recommend this palette. I just didn't feel like the two blues, even though they were different in the pan, looked different enough on the eyes to really be worth anything. I think the green that I have on my under eyes, I think that it does look nice, but again, tonally, it seems very similar once everything is applied to the eye. And even though I will keep it and use it because it was a gift, it's not one that I can recommend to you guys. There are better blue formulas out there, I believe. As far as the other products that I put on, you guys, I'm telling you, this Persona Cosmetics E-Balm is one that I would highly recommend, especially if you are a lip balm lover like myself. This is one that I think that you will really, really enjoy. It comes in 3 different shades, and I kind of want to pick up the other 2 now that I have this one. I also did use, where did it go? Oh, it's in my lap, haha. I did use this powder foundation and I do quite like it. I think that my skin looks really, really nice. It still looks very skin-like. You can still see, of course, my freckles coming through, which is nice, but you don't see a lot of my redness, even outside of where I concealed. It didn't stick onto my concealer in a weird way. It didn't cling to any dry patches. It really went on very smoothly and nicely without looking cakey. So I do think that I will get a good amount of use out of that, and I'm excited to show you pan at the time that I actually am able to hit it, because I think this is one that I am going to just be able to use up, which is always exciting. I do quite like the mascara as well. Again, I'm not going to be able to give a full opinion on it until I've used it for a while, but I do think that it looks really, really beautiful. It did take a hot minute to dry though, so just be aware of that. This is not one that you can apply, you know, and then immediately run out the door. You're going to want to give it a few minutes to really set down or set up, or, you know, whatever. But I love the way that my lashes look. I'm also curious to see how well it washes off at the end of the night as well. The primer, I'm gonna use it up, and yeah, I'm hostile towards it still. Hostile. And then the lip gloss. The lip gloss is nice, the pencil is not. So overall, I feel like everything that I tried, with the exception of the mascara and the powder foundation, was just kind of meh, which is a disappointment. But as always, I will continue to test these things out, and if my opinion changes on anything, you know that I am going to let you know, so that we can all make really informed decisions on how we spend our money, because that is super duper important. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.